Hi everyone, Cynthia here again with the new booktuber tag. I kind of wanted to do this tag to kind of share a little bit more about me with you all, and in part because I haven't read enough books this month yet to kind of film my channel with more content. So I'm working on that. But in the meantime, let's go through some of these questions. So this question, the BookTube Newbie Tag was apparently created by Brenda C, who I don't watch, but maybe I'll look up. So I'm going to go through the questions which are on my phone, and I'll go ahead and answer them for you all. So question number one is, why did you start this channel? And I started this channel after discovering BookTube. Like, I literally discovered like 2 or 3 people, and I was like, oh my God, where has this been my entire life? Like, teenage Cynthia would have loved this, would have completely been engaged. She would have already watched every single BookTube video and gone crazy at the library with books, which I was doing anyways, but I didn't have a community to do it with. So I think that's what appealed to me about starting a book channel, and to really start reading for fun more again. I had already, I finished my graduate program about 2 years ago, and about a year and a half ago, I started a book club in my area. There wasn't a book club in my area, not one on Meetup at least. And so I went ahead and started one to kind of start reading for fun again. Because if you've done any kind of master's or PhD program or credential program, you know that you end up doing a lot of reading, but it's not for fun reading, it's assigned reading. And I just missed. I thought that part of who I am was a book lover. That's part of who I am. And grad school forced me to put that on hold because I had a lot of reading. And when you're in grad school and you're not doing something related to your dissertation, you feel extremely guilty. And I let that take the best of me, and it forced me to stop reading for fun. So I want to start reading more for fun. So the book club helped, but I also needed a little bit of extra push and motivation for it, and so that's why I'm starting the channel. Let's see, question number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? So one thing that I feel right off the bat I can bring that's unique is obviously my perspective, because we all have very interesting perspectives. But as someone who has dedicated close to 10 years of her life, maybe a little bit more, to studying history, I feel like that's something that I can definitely bring to the channel. My life experience as an immigrant, as a woman who grew up in Southern California, and man, at this point in my early 30s, I feel like, damn, I have a little bit of life experience at least, whereas, you know, teenage me felt like she had life experience, but she didn't quite have life experience. She didn't know what was about to happen. So now I feel like I approach books in a different way than I used to. I also read very widely. So I hope that's something that comes through in my channel. I'll read anything from romance to nonfiction, but there are some genres that I neglect more than others. Science fiction is one of them, horror, and nonfiction. Nonfiction I do neglect quite a bit, in part because I have to do so much of it for my job. Okay, so what are you most excited for about this new channel? Man, I don't know, I'm excited to talk to people and talk about books. I'm excited to read in foreign languages. That's one of my goals, actually. I want to read more in French and in Spanish. Spanish is my first language, so, and I end up gifting my mother a lot of books in Spanish because she's a reader as well. And I'm like, why don't I read those too? So one of my goals, French, because that I think it's been a while now since I've been to France. So one way to keep you current in the language is to read. So I would like to do that as well. Yeah, but I'm just overall super excited to, you know, interact with people. what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So I don't know if that I have favorite booktubers yet. I am consuming a lot of booktube right now. I used to primarily consume beauty videos on YouTube, and I do have a beauty channel. But so what would I ask my favorite booktubers? Damn, how do you find time to read? Life is difficult, man, and there's a lot of things in life that get in the way of fun things like reading. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot of questions yet because I'm so new, I think, and I haven't, like, all the YouTubers I follow tend to be medium to smaller channels, so I haven't discovered all the big YouTubers yet. But leave some recommendations down below. Which people do you think I'll love, or just who do you love? That's where I'll start, because I've had a lot of luck like following people's recommendations on that. So let me know down below. So why do you love reading? I think we all love reading for similar reasons. It's an opportunity to see things from a different perspective, to inhabit a world completely unlike your own, or to gain insight into your own, right? It's about gaining experience and knowledge without having to leave your bedroom. It's about that. It's also an escape and from life and it's at times a reaffirmation of your life as well. There's nothing like reading to really transport you to different worlds. Even movies. I feel like I love movies and television, and because the medium is different, right? The parameters of what that it can do are also different. And so reading to me is the one way to gain experience and knowledge and improve your writing and challenge yourself mentally. So yes, so that's why I love reading. Question 5, what book or series got you into reading? This is one of my favorite topics to talk about. The series, I can pinpoint it to a series. It is The Babysitter's Club. The Babysitter's Club. I used to not like reading very much. I don't know. I wasn't as obsessed with reading as I got in 5th grade. My family moved between 4th and 5th grade. And we used to live in a place that had a lot of apartment buildings together, and so there were a lot of young kids my age that would all come out and play after school. And so I felt like I was probably always busy with my neighborhood friends, and so I didn't have time to read. So we moved, and my parents bought a house, and also then all of a sudden we're in a new town. I didn't have any friends, and it wasn't the best neighborhood, so we weren't allowed to just like go out into the neighborhood and play. So that's when I found Scholastic. My elementary school had a book fair, and I was like, oh my god, this seems interesting. I could order books. My parents were willing to sign me up for the Babysitter's Club book order. It was something like you got 1 or 2 books, something like that, every month, and it was cheap enough that my parents were willing to sign me up for it. And I started reading, and then it wasn't enough. Those books weren't enough, and I started going to the library, and my mom would take me to the library, but I really credit the Babysitter's Club. It was a story about girls, for girls, and it was interesting and complex enough for me at the time, so it started it all for me. So I'll always be extremely grateful for the Babysitter's Club, and at one point I'll go visit my family, and I'm going to take my camera with me, because all of the books that I used to have growing up, my mom still has. My dad built us a bookshelf, and she has made sure to keep every single book that I owned, and it's really beautiful and emotional when I go see it. Now I'm getting all emotional. Okay, next question is reading, what book series, I guess I'm saying these a bit out of order. The what would you ask your favorite booktubers was out of order. So 7, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Editing. I like filming videos I've already found, and I knew from having had my beauty channel that it's the actual filming of it, once you get the basics down, is not the most difficult thing. Editing can be a little bit challenging in terms of just doing it for me. Editing doesn't come naturally, so that's one thing. And 2, making sure I'm making the time to read on a regular basis. That's going to be a huge challenge. I have a super busy schedule this semester, and yeah. But this is the whole point of doing it, so yeah. 8, when did you start reading? So again, I probably started reading when I was 5 years old, but like the age at which I credit becoming a reader was when I was 5 years old. So quite a while ago. Where do you read? Oh, this is an interesting question. Where do we read? A lot of times, because I'm doing reading for my work, I read at my desk. But when I'm doing reading for fun, I tend to go to my couch in my living room or my bed. I like reading in bed. For a while, I was also reading in bed right before going to sleep, so bed was good. I have this room that's really, I'm fortunate enough to have really all just for me and my stuff. And I have a bear. I don't know if, where's the bear? There's a giant bear over there. And that my boyfriend just gifted me a few weeks ago. So I might just cuddle up with the bear and read. What I really want for this room is to buy a cozy chair and for it to be like a reading area. But I need to find the right chair, and I haven't yet found that. What kind of books do you like to read? So like I said earlier, I read a little bit of everything. I really like romance novels because they're short, easy to read, and it was another one of the genres that I discovered early on. But I'm not limited. I read academic. I do a lot of academic reading, especially history. I like historical fiction. Love historical fiction. I like bestsellers. Bestsellers are fun. Especially like them in audiobook now. I've discovered audiobooks not that long ago, and I like them. I like listening to bestsellers. I like the classics. And this is like, I have always loved the classics. In middle school, I kept challenging myself to read the biggest book I could find at my library. The one that I never was able to get through was The Three Musketeers. I don't know why, but maybe I should pick that up now and see how I can do with it. But it's a giant book. So that would take me a while, but I should actually try to do that again. That's one of the things I like doing. Go to the bookstore, find the biggest book you can find, and see how long it'll take you to read it. The book that it took me the longest to read was The Scarlet Letter. I tried reading that in middle school. That's when I bought it. The Scarlet Letter is not an easy book to read. It's a heavy academic, written in older English. So it wasn't until high school that I finished reading that book. So it took me quite a few years, but I finished reading it, and I felt so good when I finished reading that book. And I do count it as kind of one of my books I like. One of the books I like. What else do I like reading? I like reading zombie books. I like reading science fiction. I like reading stories about women, stories about people of color. And growing up as a Latina in Southern California, I obviously saw a lot of people that looked like me around me, but we don't necessarily read about people like me. And it's important to see yourself. It's important to see yourself in film and television and in books as well. And there's quite a rich, beautiful genre of immigrant literature and of literature in Spanish. So I like reading those as well. And nonfiction. because I have to do a lot of nonfiction reading. It's not my favorite genre, but I'm open to it, and I want to read more of it. So I will say that. But I like, primarily I think what I'm really interested in at this point in my life is books are different. Something that will surprise me, right? It is not often that a book will surprise me, and that's what I think I'm looking for right now. But yeah, anyway, that is it for the new booktuber tag. Like I said, let me know down below if you have any booktuber recommendations. I am so into booktube right now that I want like as many recommendations as you can give me. Leave them all. But I'll see you in the next one. Bye.